All right. All right. I think we're ready to go. Yeah, it's time. Cool. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Good to see you. I hope my mic is on. Is my mic on? Yeah, my mic is on. Hi, YouTube. Hi, Facebook is over there. Hi. Yeah, happy Wednesday. Welcome back to the class. It's Wednesday afternoon here in sunny Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. I am Shaun. If you don't know me, if this is your first time, hi. If you've been here before, and I see obviously lots of people here that I've seen before, yeah, and some new faces, cool. Yeah, we're coming at you at the studio at the Canadian College of English Language, and we're about to get started here. So during the class, as usual, if you're a regular, you know this, but if you're new, if you guys have questions, just put them into the chat, and we will try our best to answer them. We've got some moderators in there to help us. We've got Lane is there to help. I see Karim is in there. I think Mark is there too. Zach may be in there too. Everybody's in there. It's a big party. So yeah, give us your questions, comments. If you missed something, need us to repeat it, send it our way. People are saying hi to me. Hi, hi, hi. Hi, Big Sleep. Raphael broke a commitment. I don't know, broke a date he had to make it to class today. I like that. Okay. Rosa's here, good. I want my 145 students, if they're watching right now, I want to see you in the chat too. Prove to me that you're watching. Okay, so Chateau 7's back. Good stuff. Saying the sound is a bit too low. I'll put myself up there a little bit. Tell me if the sound is too low. All right. Jia Ying is there. Cool.
Sounds good.
Sounds good? All right. So let's get rolling, okay? We're going to dive right into it here. Here we go. Yeah. So today's topic, Leanne is there too. Wow, everybody's there. It's a big party. Selma. Okay, so today's topic, as you may know because you may have seen the title on the video before, today we are talking about what? Punctuation. Yeah, I thought that we would focus on writing skills today. Because everybody loves punctuation, right? No. Punctuation is oftentimes a source of sleepless nights, wrinkles, maybe premature aging. Blue Guitar 77 is back. Cool. Good to see you. Punctuation causes big bags under the eyes, stomach pains maybe. I don't know. Or maybe just a little bit of confusion. I mean, I know that students often have questions and concerns and confusion over different punctuation points, when to use them, how to use them, okay? And we're going to look at some of that today, but we are going to look at some of the more advanced uses of punctuation. We're not going to be looking at the period or the question mark or that end punctuation so much, but as usual, I'm going to try to take it up a notch or two and expand your understanding of some of the more maybe complicated uses of punctuation. All right, no big purple hearts for punctuation. Everybody loves it. Good stuff. So Chateau 7's already tossing me questions. Can you write a sentence that can handle, can I write a sentence that can handle 2 colons? Like, is that a challenge to me? Chateau 7? Maybe. Well, we'll talk about that in a bit. Okay. So I think the thing to keep in mind about punctuation is that sometimes it is the source of debate and argument and frustration between people because people have very strong opinions about punctuation and when to use a comma or not to use a comma, how to use a semicolon. You are going to find even teachers will disagree on certain rules of punctuation as to when to use this one or when to use that. But that's okay. We can disagree. There's nothing wrong with that. We don't have to end our friendship. We don't have to ruin our relationships over differing opinions on punctuation. We don't have, and I might have to say, I should add that the arguments over punctuation, very nerdy arguments, very geeky, but I'm a bit of a nerd myself. I know you would never guess it, but I enjoy a good punctuation debate, and I think I've had one at least one with Chateau 7 there too, I think. So I'm ready. Okay. Chateau 7's asking another question. Do you find punctuation between British English and American English varies, and how? Okay, that's pretty specific. There are some differences, not many, a couple minor things, and maybe we'll touch on that at the end of class. Good question. Alejandra's here. Hi. Okay. So yeah, let's not fight over punctuation. Let's not let it ruin our relationship. Let's go through it together. Okay. So as I said, today we're not going to look at periods so much or question marks and that kind of stuff. Today we're going to look at really four things, and that would be the semicolon, the colon, the dash, and parentheses, and kind of how they are used. And even, to be honest, I mean, I think I called this video punctuation problems, but it's not a problem. I guess what we're doing today is showing you how these different punctuation points are used to help you avoid punctuation problems. All right? So let's start with the semicolon. Now, some of this stuff, guys, I might go over a little fast because we've talked about some of this stuff in previous classes, okay? I'm going to make a few references to things that maybe we've learned in previous classes that you can go back and watch the video from that class if you're unfamiliar with it. Again, ask the questions, but some of this stuff I might go through quickly because it's a bit of a review. Yeah, more people. Hey, Ayub is here. Cool. Okay, so let's start with my buddy, the semicolon. All right, don't fear the semicolon. The semicolon is your friend, but he's more than just the winky face, right? He's more than just a way for you to let your friend know that you're making a joke in a text or to send a flirty message, all right? So the semicolon really has two main uses. And one of them is far more common than the second, okay? But two main uses of the semicolon. One of them is to connect clauses in a sentence. All right, we'll start with that one. So we can use the semicolon to connect clauses, and we can use the semicolon to give clarity to a longer list or a longer series of things, okay? So I'm going to start by talking about those two things, and then we'll get into some more stuff. And then I'm going to get you guys to do some work for me. So I'm probably going to talk for a bit, and then you guys are going to get to work. All right? So here we go. Semicolon rule number one is to link. Now this is something that we've talked about in class before, and that's the compound sentence, or in some cases the compound complex sentence. But if you have a sentence with two related, kind of connected, independent clauses, two clauses that could exist on their own, you can join those two clauses with a semicolon, okay? As long as there is an obvious connection between these two clauses, okay? So, for example, let me show you this example. The flood was devastating, okay? Many people were forced to abandon their homes. So not a very happy topic, but this is clearly two clauses that are connected. There's a cause and effect relationship here. Okay, good. More people. Rosalinda's here. Hi, how are you? Cool. So this semicolon there is used because I've got two independent clauses. The flood was devastating, is independent. It could rest on its own. Or this one, many people were forced to abandon their homes. This is also an independent clause. So these two sentences can be fused together, can be joined together to use a semicolon. Now Selma is saying that she overuses semicolons. Yeah, I guess you have to be careful of that. Overusing any punctuation is not great, although it's almost impossible to overuse the period, I guess. But yeah, watch it with your semicolons. You don't want to use it too much, but a little bit will help you out. And again, one of the reasons we're talking about this, guys, is that I want you to expand your range of sentence structure and show what you can do. So the use of a semicolon is a way of showing your kind of your range and your comfort level with the language. Okay, but yeah, don't go crazy with it, and I'll talk about that in a second. So you've got two independent clauses here, but there's no reason that you have to put a semicolon here. Okay, the semicolon will almost always be a style choice. Pistol Kit is saying, so semicolon is like and. Yeah, kind of. The semicolon functions kind of like one of those linking words, one of those conjunctions. So you take and or so or but out, and you can put the semicolon in there. But again, it's a style choice. So if you want to take that out and just put a period, capitalize the M and have two sentences, that's fine. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. The semicolon is basically your decision to take a sentence that could have stopped, right? The flood was devastating. I could have finished there, but instead of finishing, I have decided to continue the sentence because the next idea is connected, is related. But there's no reason that I have to do it. This is fine, okay? Now, sometimes the question might be, well, why would I choose to put a semicolon there? And in this case, I would personally use a semicolon here because this clause is so short, right? Four words, the flood was devastating. If it's its own sentence, that's fine, but connecting it to kind of make a slightly longer, more interesting sentence is good too. If you had a really, really long clause, you might want to put a period there and start a new sentence. Okay? Good. All right, Khalid is asking, is it a coherent sentence? If you're talking about my sentence, then yes. My sentence is very coherent. Well, it is according to to me it is. It seems coherent. If it's not, let me know. Now, kind of getting to what Selma said, and something that Chateau 7 started with at the beginning of class, is that you want to be careful not to use too many semicolons or too many colons. You don't want to be excessive with it. So in this sentence, I would not put another semicolon here and continue with another clause. That just seems like it's too much. Now, oftentimes, I teach semicolons to my students, and then the next time I read their writing, it's like they went crazy with the semicolon gun and just shot semicolons everywhere, all right? But as I said to Selma, all right, use it sparingly. Use it a little, but not too much. Rosa's question, do we use for more explanation? That's exactly right. We can use the semicolon to show cause and effect, to give an example, to add additional information, all of those types of things. And again, I think we did a class on this months and months ago for anybody who's new on using semicolons in compound sentences. You should check it out. There's lots of good information there. All right, so also, I should mention before we move on, is that you could start that sentence with some kind of linking device, some kind of adjective, or not adjective, rather adverb, right? Some kind of conjunctive adverb, like as a result, or therefore, or something like that. Jorge from Argentina, awesome, nice, welcome. Alejandro saying, would it be wrong to use a period in this sentence? No, that's fine. It's good. Okay, so that's the kind of the first use of the semicolon. This is the most common use, but again, the point of class today is to show you some other ways of using some of this punctuation to help you with your writing, but also to help you sometimes in your reading as well, to make sense of it and to see how we use the punctuation. So we actually do use the semicolon sometimes in a list. Okay, now check out my sentence here. Quick question. Where'd it go? There we go. How many places is the Prime Minister visiting? I'm going to pop out real quick. Answer that question for me. All right, how many places is the Prime Minister visiting? Yeah, nice. Lots of different stuff coming in the chat. Lots of answers. I see 4 and 8. Jefferson says 8. Pascoa says 8. Marianne says 4. Khalid says 7. Interesting. 3 and 7 are very interesting. This is cool. Okay. Now, a couple people got in first with the 4s. Now, I guess if the answer was 8, it would be a pretty obvious question, and that's why I'm kind of throwing you this question because I like to trick you guys. Okay, it's one of the pleasures I get every Wednesday is trying to confuse you and trick you. All right. So, for example, I see Asami Borg just said 8. Now, at first, it looks like 8. If you just quickly count, it looks like 8 because you're looking at all the commas and all of these items in the list. All right, and CF Teaching is saying I have no idea where those places are. And that was the point. I chose places specifically that you would not be able to recognize so that it would make it harder to answer this question. Again, because that's the kind of person I am. Okay, so the confusion with this, the reason it's tricky. Oh, by the way, the answer is 4. Okay, this month the Prime Minister will visit 4 places, and those places are Hamilton, Ontario. Oh no, it's going to disappear every time, is it? Hamilton, Ontario, Fredericton, New Brunswick. It's going to disappear again. Digby, Nova Scotia, and Brandon, Manitoba. I got to fix the animation on my slides next time. So Hamilton, Ontario, Fredericton, New Brunswick, Digby, Nova Scotia, and Brandon, Manitoba. Okay, so the confusion here, guys, is that we use the comma for more than one thing, right? We use the comma for, oh no, my slides, here we go. So we use all these commas, but the commas are causing confusion. We use the commas for lists, but we also use the commas to separate items in an address, okay? So, again, this animation's all messed up, but the commas on this screen now, I'm using to create a list, to separate places in a list, okay? Those are those commas. These ones here, I'm using to separate city from province, okay? Just like you do city from a state, or a state from a country, or a country from a continent, okay? So the problem here is that I've created a confusing list, and that's why my good old buddy, the semicolon, can come in and make that clear. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do with my chart here. These commas, oh really? Come on. Okay, here. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to get out of here. There. Okay. I have changed those commas to semicolons. All right, so I have taken each item, which is a city and a province, and separated the items in the list to clarify. So this month, the Prime Minister will be visiting Hamilton, Ontario, city and province, Fredericton, New Brunswick, city and province, Digby, Nova Scotia, which is a city and a province, and Brandon, Manitoba, beautiful Brandon, Manitoba, which is a town and a province, okay? So this is how we use the semicolon in a list, all right? Now, yeah, there we go. I'm getting all lost here because I got out of here. So the whole point, let me get back into my presentation, okay, is the semicolon is used to separate items in a potentially confusing list. That's what I'm saying here. And the point is for clarity, okay, to make things clear, because that's the point of punctuation. I know that punctuation seems like it's trying to confuse you, but it's actually trying to make things clear for you, okay? So let me show you one more example, and hopefully this will be easier for me to show you in the slides, okay? Selma, she had no idea we could use them like this, and that just warms my heart as a teacher to find out that I'm actually teaching you something new. That makes my day, okay? So check out this sentence. In attendance at the meeting were Wendy McKee, president, Vince Sullivan, vice president, Tony Street, secretary, and Linda Hunt, director of PR, which is public relations. You think the mic battery is dying?
Yeah.
Yeah? Weird, because
Quiet.
Yeah?
We'll change it the next activity.
Okay. Yeah, we'll change. We'll check out the battery. It looks like it's going strong over here, but we'll see. Okay. Maybe it's the position of my mic. No, my mic seems okay. Okay, so in this sentence, it's clear how many people were at the meeting, right? Hopefully. Oh no, don't do this to me again. Wendy McKee, president. Vince Sullivan, vice president. Tony Street, secretary. And Linda Hunt, director of PR. Now again, in this case, you're using the semicolon to make the list clearer. Chateau 7 is saying, if we become punctuation nerds, will you lose friends? Probably, but you'll make some as well, so it'll all even out, okay? It'll all be okay, all right? So that is the use of the semicolon, all right? But we're not done yet, okay? I want to talk about, come on, get out of here. Somebody sabotaged my slides today. Terrible. All right. I have a quick question for you, and then I'm going to check my sound. All right? So, quick question. I'm going to check my slides here, too. This is one for the chat. I'm kind of setting myself up for this one. I don't know. To be a good teacher, what characteristics does a person need? Okay? To be a good teacher, what characteristics does a person need? I'm going to put that, or I'm going to pop out of the screen. I'm going to put the music on. We're going to check my battery. And I want you guys to put your answers in the chat. Okay? To be a good teacher, what characteristics does a person need? Okay? Discuss that in the chat, and I will be back. Get to All right, some good stuff coming in the chat. Lots of stuff that most of it I agree with, especially bald, bald but lovely. I think in reference to, well, Mark, I guess. I think somebody should put that on a shirt for Mark. I think. Yeah, I think so. That's amazing. So we got empathy, personal interest, patience, funny, humor, attention, dedication, all of these good things. Okay, cool. Okay. Yeah, so a lot of the answers that you guys put are similar to the answers that I came up with. Okay, so innovative, patience. Okay, cool. So I said to be a good teacher, a person needs knowledge, right? Empathy. So some people said, who said empathy? Jefferson said empathy. I know how he feels. All right. And patience. Again, like me, when the slides don't work. Yeah, patience. And above all else, a nice haircut. Okay? All right, well, I went the wrong way. Good. Okay, so you need knowledge, empathy, patience, and a nice haircut. All right. Charismatic, Kaio says. Transmit your knowledge. This is good. Now, why? My hair is all messed up now. That's fine. Why am I asking this question? Just so I get some positive feedback about me and about Mark, I guess, to make me feel good about myself. But actually, to introduce kind of the next punctuation point today, which is our buddy the colon. Okay, now the colon, this guy, or this guy if you prefer, all right? The colon really has just one main use, okay? Even fewer uses than the semicolon. And that is, colons are used to introduce a list, a series, or to introduce some kind of example, or introduce a explanation for something. Okay, so the most, I would say, the most common one is a list. Okay, so you start with an independent clause, and then after the independent clause, you put a colon and then the list. So the reason I asked this question before was so that I could write this sentence for you, all right? Which is, to be a good teacher, a person needs 4 things: colon, knowledge, empathy, patience, and a nice haircut, with a period there. Yeah. Charo, I'm not sure what that face means. I'm not sure if that's a good face or not. I don't know. Is it? All right. So in this sentence, I have begun with an independent clause, right? I could just finish there. I could stop and walk away. I could just say, to be a good teacher, a person needs 4 things. Class dismissed. Or, in this case, I can put that that colon rather, not semicolon, but colon, and follow it with a series of items, okay? And that's the most common use of the colon. Now, oftentimes the colon can be followed by just one thing. If, for example, I said, to be a good teacher, a person needs 1 thing, colon, knowledge, okay? Or something like that. Good. Chateau 7's asking a question. If you have a list in a sentence, would you set it apart with dashes or parentheses in the middle of a sentence? Quite possibly, Chateau 7, yeah. And good question, we'll talk about that in a moment. Rosa's question, in writing essays, do we use colons? You certainly could if you wanted to write a sentence like this, Rosa, absolutely. Okay. Yeah, she was just making the O face, okay. Yeah, so definitely academic writing, essays, in anything, any kind of writing, you can use this colon to introduce a list or example. Absolutely. Okay. See if you're saying that you don't use it in Brazil, like in Portuguese. That's interesting. Okay. What would you use to introduce a list? I wonder. Selma, yeah, lots of good questions coming in. This is good. Okay. So the other thing I was going to say is you cannot use the colon in this sentence. So in my original sentence that I wrote, okay, which I say, to be a good teacher, a person needs knowledge, empathy, patience, and a nice haircut. You cannot put a colon there because that is not an independent clause, right? It's not complete yet. You couldn't just say, to be a good teacher, a person needs, and then stop. Okay, and I think, Chateau 7, I think I just answered the, right, exactly. I think you answered your own question. Good. Okay, so don't do this. Do that. That's good. Okay, good stuff. Lots of good questions coming in now. Just so I don't get any angry letters or angry emails or anybody saying, but my teacher told me, or I saw once, that sometimes this sentence that we were looking at with a semicolon, sometimes you will see people use a colon there to add information or to give some kind of cause-effect relationship or explanation. Okay, so if you are to see that, I don't want you thinking that I lied to you, okay? But the semicolon is far more common, and in my personal use, I always use the semicolon for compound sentences, and I never use the colon in a compound sentence like this, okay? I can't really think of any time that I would follow a colon with an independent clause unless it was a series of independent clauses, right? Like a list. Okay, so that's the colon. Now, I'm spending so much time talking here answering questions, which are good, but I want to get through this so you guys can get to work for me. Okay, so 2 more things I want to talk about, and then you guys are going to do some work. All right? So, dashes. This guy, yeah, he's your friend. He loves you. Parentheses, which are these guys, right? They are also there for you to help you. Okay? What are we talking about here? Every Wednesday, after Shaun's class. Oh yeah, we'll be adding a new class soon. Sure. Okay. You guys can talk about that. I'll focus on this. So dashes and parentheses I'm putting together because they have a very common usage. Okay? The basic function of these 2 punctuation points is the same, but there is a slight difference between when you would use one or the other. Okay, so dashes and parentheses are used to add information to a sentence, right? If you're adding a phrase or even a clause or word or something to the middle or the end of a sentence, you can use a dash or dashes and parentheses. Okay, Luciano's here. Hi, everybody, he says. Hi. All right. So really what I'm talking about, it's very similar to the way we use commas to insert extra information. But there is a little bit of a difference in feeling, okay? And it basically goes like this. Dashes are usually used to emphasize or bring attention to the information that you're adding to the sentence, okay? You want to emphasize it, or it's important if you're using dashes. Parentheses you're using to minimize the importance of the information. You're putting it in there, but you don't want to interrupt the sentence with this information. Okay, it's kind of like a little aside that you're mentioning to somebody, but it's not as significant. Okay, so interesting that these 2 punctuation marks can be used to kind of show feeling. Hair is for girls, Mark says. Yeah. Couldn't agree more. All right. All right. So the example. Okay. The example is the celebration of light. Hair is to attract girls. That's great. All right. The celebration of light. Fireworks festival from July 23rd to the 30th brings tens of thousands of people to downtown Vancouver. This is true. It's happening right now. Fireworks and music, and actually it's tonight. There's the fireworks celebration downtown. So the information that you see here, oh no, not again, in between commas, okay, here, this information, you can use dashes or parentheses instead, okay? Killing me here. So these commas can be taken out and replaced with this, okay? No, I'm going back here. So the Celebration of Light Fireworks Festival in here from July 23rd to 30th brings tens of thousands of people. So in this sentence, I am saying that this information is not super important. I'm just tossing it in there, but I don't want to take away from basically the main thing that I'm saying. Okay, now I don't trust my slides anymore. I'm gonna slide down here instead, and we'll just go through it like this. So what I'm saying here is that the parentheses or the commas, it's the same function, okay? Same thing. Now in this case, I would use this or the commas, but I wouldn't use the dashes because this information from July 23rd to the 30th, it doesn't seem like something that I really want to emphasize, okay? So let me show you an example of something you want to emphasize. There was a huge misunderstanding and panic throughout the office, all because of a simple comma. So again, that comma there could be replaced with the M dash, this long dash here, okay? Now again, I'm adding this information at the end of the sentence. It's not a complete sentence, all right? It's all because of a simple comma, a little phrase there. And I'm using the dash because I'm drawing attention to it. It is kind of significant, right? All of these problems because of one simple thing, all right? And let me show you one more example, and then I'm going to get you guys to do some work for me. How about this one? Jameson, the man who had been helping with the investigation, was revealed to be the murderer. Oh no. Surprising. Okay, so again, these commas I'm using to insert information. I could take them away and I could put dashes there instead because this seems pretty significant. Now, if I wanted to put that in parentheses, that would be fine too, okay? That would work, but it just means that, yeah, it's not important, don't worry about it. Yeah, he was helping, but don't worry about it. He was the murderer. In this case, I'm trying to draw your attention to it, okay? And that's the big difference. But basically the main takeaway point that I want you to remember today is that punctuation is your friend. Punctuation loves you and is there for you if you know how to use it and use it correctly. So yeah, don't hide from it, don't hate it, love it, all right? So now it's time for you guys to do some work for me. I've been talking too much, all right? My voice is starting to go. You guys have been alive in the chat, which is great. Now, this is what I want to do here. I am going to put a link in the chat, okay? All right. Oh yeah, Mark, you're gonna have to help me with this. I'm gonna put this on the screen, and Mark's giggling over there like a little girl. But in a second, he's gonna come and help me because I cannot currently put the link in there because I am not a moderator, technically, right? If you can fix that for me. I don't know if you can do that from over there, Mark. But I'm going to put 4 sentences up here for you guys to see, and I'm going to pop out, oh, another big purple heart. Look at all the different colored hearts in there. I don't know what you guys are talking about in there. All right. So I want you guys to look at these 4 sentences. I'm going to disappear for a while. I'm with you in spirit, though. Okay. And I want you to add punctuation to these sentences. It could be semicolons, colons, dashes, commas, parenthesis. It could be anything that you think fits. It could be more than one possibility. But take these sentences, add some punctuation, and put your answers in the chat. Okay? They're going to set me up. Where is Mark? He's just over there. He's distracting me.
No, because I'm watching your video and I'm seeing your slides, and I thought that was funny, the comma inside there.
He's laughing because I'm a funny person. He's he's enjoying me. That's why he's laughing. Yeah. So, anyway, these are here for you guys. Add some punctuation to it. Use what we've just talked about, and then I'm going to get you to do even more work with it as well. So I'm out of here. I'm going to go. I'm going to put the happy music on, or the terrifying music on, however you feel about it. But I'm going to disappear. Okay? All right. Get to work. Oh yeah, lots of good stuff. Look at all the answers. Good. So how about I'll start going over this stuff. You guys can keep putting your answers in there as I'm going through. But I want to keep things chugging along here so that we got a lot of time to go over it all. Lots of good stuff. So I'm just going to put the answers up here on this screen in this sentence because you got lots of options. Now, A, the guest list for the party included Kristen Bell, a Hollywood actress, Carly Rae Jepsen, a pop star, a Canadian pop star, I should say, Sidney Crosby, a champion athlete, and Bobby Flay, a celebrity chef. I don't know where that sentence came from, but very interesting. Okay, so like life, you got choices, right? You've got options. You don't have to use one punctuation mark or the other. I think I saw Chateau 7 go for the parentheses, right? A Hollywood actress, putting all of this information here is what he did, right? Like so, like this. And that's fine, that's great. You can do that, good. Also too, because I haven't answered that question yet, Chateau 7, you were asking the difference between a parenthesis with an I and parentheses with an E. Is just a difference of singular or plural, right? Like this is a parenthesis, right? A singular, all right? Two parentheses, to my knowledge anyway. That's how I understand it, okay? So he decided just to throw this information in there as just little extra unimportant things, okay, about these people, and that's great. Now notice that some people had different answers, and that's good too. So some of you didn't go for the parentheses. Instead, you went for the semicolon in list, right? I think Marianne did that. I'm seeing that, hang on. One thing I didn't put in there, guys, just a second. Just realized that I went too fast there. Because one thing that you have to include, obviously, and Chateau 7 did it, he put the commas in there too. Whoops. Like so, like so. Okay, so he's got the commas in there as well as the parentheses. Okay, good. Now some of you, as I said, decided not to do that. And we took all of this stuff out, and instead you went for the semicolons and comma combination, right? So you said, Kristen Bell, a Hollywood actress, with a comma there, Hollywood actress, semicolon. Carly Rae Jepsen, comma, a pop star, semicolon. Sidney Crosby, a champion athlete, semicolon. And Bobby Flay, comma, a celebrity chef. All right, so that would be a good answer for that too. I think those two are the best answers. Trying to use dashes in there might be a little confusing. I think this one or the parentheses would be the best. Okay. Yeah, people saw my little comma misstep there. Good eye for my mistakes. Right. Sometimes I get so excited, I go so fast. I gotta slow down. All right, so A is good. B, I got in trouble for not completing any of my assignments. 2 grammar exercises, a reading, and an essay was late for class. Now, I noticed Jefferson, I think maybe it was Jefferson, put a colon here. Or something like that, right? Is that right? Yeah, right. So I wouldn't put a colon there because in this case, I got in trouble for. It's not complete. Okay, so you can't put a colon there because it has to come after an independent clause, Jefferson. Okay, but that was a nice try on that one. I see a bunch of different answers too. Okay, so Selma put a colon there. Good. Marianne, who else? What else do I got there? Okay, Raphael, I'll put you up there. So you got in trouble for not completing my assignments. So I think here you put the colon, right? I got in trouble for not completing any of my assignments, colon, because now you're introducing a list of assignments, right? 2 grammar exercises. I would put a comma there, a reading, comma, and an essay. And then you'd have to put a comma there, and was late for class, right? What you could do, though, I think, to make it a little bit clearer, just because of this last part here, I would maybe take all of this stuff out. And rather than the colon, I might put something like this. Okay, and say, I got in trouble for not completing any of my assignments and was late for class. So it's 2 things, right? I got in trouble for this and I was late, right? So with one subject over here. So I think the best answer would be to separate this stuff in parentheses, or if you wanted to, you could do dashes or commas even, okay? Just to separate all of these things, which are the assignments, okay? Now, yeah, starting with a colon and then going back into this doesn't really work super great. It's not super clear. I think you don't want to separate the subject here from this verb over here, okay? And I think putting the parentheses or the dashes there would be better, okay? All right, how about C? You need to lower your expectations, otherwise you're going to be quite disappointed. Okay, Raphael got it. Okay, who else? What else we have here? So many answers. CF teaching. Okay, good. Now I'm glad to see this, just because you have to be careful of this little guy here. If you put the 2 commas like this, that's actually a common error that that students make, and even native English speakers make when in our writing as well. That can't be a comma. That guy's got to be a semicolon there, okay? You need to lower your expectations, otherwise you're going to be quite disappointed, okay? Because in this case you've got an independent clause here, okay? It can just be on its own, and an independent clause here with an introductory word and then the subject and verb, okay? Now, as we were discussing before, you could just do that and have 2 sentences, but why not use the semicolon like that, okay? All right, lots of questions coming in. Okay. Some of these questions, maybe some people in the chat can get to. Maybe missed the first part of it, so I'm not sure exactly what the question is asking. Okay. So what about D? Before you go camping, ensure that you have the following supplies: a tent, an axe, a sleeping bag, and a lighter. All right. And who gave me an answer for that? Somebody else. Okay, Yoshi's there. Okay, what else? Who else? Rosa. Yeah, Rosa, you got it. So before you go camping, ensure that you have the following supplies, and you went with a colon there, a tent, comma, an axe, comma, a sleeping bag, comma, and a lighter. This guy, this comma here being a bit of a divisive comma, something that teachers even argue about if it's necessary or not. I like the serial comma. I like the Oxford comma. Some people say don't use it. In this case, I think it's okay. Okay? That's good. So how are we doing for time? Yeah, we've got enough time. Why not? I'll get you guys to do one more thing before you guys go. Okay? You guys talking about cannibals and eating children? Wow, it's gotten dark in the chat over there. Okay, so how about this? I want you guys to do one more thing for me, because honestly, I mean, this is good practice, but in life, no one is ever going to, other than me or your teacher, going to give you a sentence to say, here, quickly, put punctuation marks in this sentence, right? It's all about writing sentences and coming up with your own examples of this punctuation and kind of making the choices as you go, okay? So look at the next part of this exercise, okay? Back into that same exercise. Yeah. We'll see if we have time for the mistake of the week. All right, we'll see if we get time. So how about this? Look at these sentences. I want you to try to add information to these sentences using punctuation. So don't change anything that I have written. Don't take anything away. Only add to it. So, for example, the first one is, the view in front of me left me speechless. So I want you to add information to that sentence using some form of punctuation, okay? So you can put it in the middle, you can put it at the end, you can put it at the beginning, all right? Whatever you want, but just use the proper punctuation. So I would say something like, you could say, the view in front of me, what could I say here for that one? Ooh. How about, oh yeah, how do I do this? Whoops. I want this to be bigger. So in this case, the view in front of me, a beautiful sunset on the water left me speechless. Now in this case, you can add this information, you can put dashes in there. Yeah, even I get stuck from time to time. I'm used to using my own keyboard at my own desk. All right, so the view in front of me, a beautiful sunset on the water, left me speechless. Now this could be between commas if you wanted to. You could put it in parentheses. Whoops, like that. Do whatever you like, but add information and use the punctuation, okay? So take a couple minutes and do that. We don't have a ton of time, but we'll see what we can get done. Be creative and use the punctuation, and don't be afraid to make some mistakes. Get some answers in there, and then we'll go over them together, okay? Go for it, guys. Yes. Okay. All right. Now, I'm going to have to hop in here and get some answers, put some answers up here because we're running a little bit long, and I know much to Raphael's disappointment, we're not going to get to the mistake of the week again 2 weeks in a row. But what I'll do with the mistake of the week is I will put I'll put it on Facebook for you guys to discuss, okay? Or and next week we will start with the mistake of the week. Okay, so let me put some of your answers up here kind of quickly, and then you guys can run away because I know it's late for some of you where you are. So B. Let me see one for B. I see. So some of you, like Beatrice, that's. Oh, okay. No, what am I looking at? Beatrice is a good one for D. Rosa, you're kind of changing my sentences a little bit. Now, all I wanted you guys to do is to insert some information in there. So let me go over some of them to show you. Like, all animals can be divided into vertebrates and invertebrates. So I would say invertebrates, and I would put in parentheses those with spines, right? Because that's what vertebrates means. And invertebrates, those without. Just something like that. Okay, now I'm adding information in there, and I'm putting it in the proper punctuation. Oh yeah, Christina, you got that one. Yours is a little bit more detailed than mine is, but yeah, including a spinal cord and including species with skeleton and exterior one. Yeah, good. Okay, very similar to mine, which means it's good. Right. What about C? The company has opened new locations in London, Paris, Rome, and Berlin. Who's got one here? So Raphael, yeah, you added a little information there. The company that sells a lot of beer has opened a new location. Good. The company that Shaun owns, Selma says, good. That's a good one. All right. This is good. Some good answers coming in. Now, the one thing when I put London, Paris, Rome, and Berlin up there, I was expecting someone would jump upon the ability to write a more detailed list. France, right? Comme ça. Rome. Italy. I know it's a little bit obvious, but sometimes obvious is okay, right? All right. Just like that. So London, England, Paris, France, Rome, Italy, and Berlin, Germany. Okay? That's one way to do it. CF Teaching couldn't remember the word spine. Yeah, sometimes I forget words too, as you guys just witnessed. Sometimes I get stuck. All right, D, most people care about one thing. Let me see, what do you guys have here? Most people care about one thing. Raphael says money. Selma says money. Pascoa, yeah. I would say Pascoa. Put the semicolon there and said internet. I would say the internet. Like that. All right. What else? Beatrice said money as well. You guys think people only think about money. I mean, if it was, I could say maybe if it was Raphael, you could say something like this. Most people care about one thing, pizza. All right? Okay. What about E? Two more and then you guys can run away. You can go to sleep, you can get your PJs on or whatever you need to do, okay? So he refused to acknowledge the truth. What did you guys add to that? Ayub. Okay, I'm gonna put this one up here. Ayub says this, Shaun hasn't accepted, now he said my, I'm gonna change it to his friendship request. Or maybe is he Shaun, okay. My friendship request yet. Okay. So he refused to acknowledge the truth. Shaun hasn't accepted my friendship request yet. All right, I'll get right on that. I apologize. Yeah, I will accept your friendship. Now, the one thing about this, though, here I wouldn't use a comma, okay, because that's what we call a comma splice, and we can do some more. We can do some more work with that. I see. Oh, fetty. Most people care about one thing: famous. Maybe fame for that one in here. Fetty. If you put fame there, that would be good. But are you getting back to you? Just change that comma to a semicolon. Okay, or I would even accept the dash, right? I honestly don't know how to make a proper dash on this keyboard, so I'm just going to put the double hyphen like that, right? Mark thinks I'm crazy, but I'm just going to do that. Okay, so that would work as well. It's a sad sentence, but I guess it is the truth. Okay. And the last one before you guys run away, F, he has all the qualities of a successful candidate. So what do you guys say? What do you guys give me for that one? Oh, okay. Now this is a good one from Jefferson. I'm going to put this one up here because there's a slight mistake. Now I like putting little mistakes up every once in a while. He has no, I'm going to paraphrase a little bit, chance of winning against his opponent. Now that's a good sentence. Now, for you, the one thing that I would change there, Jefferson, is I wouldn't put but after the semicolon like that, because but is a coordinating conjunction. Losing my voice here. You can do two things. Two things, Jefferson, okay? You can take but and change it to however, like this, okay? Or if you want to use but, you would put a comma there and say but like that, okay? Because with but, you don't need a semicolon. Good. Okay. This is good stuff. All right. Yeah, we're going over time a little bit, so let me pop out here. Let me go back to green. Okay. So sadly, another class has come to an end. Always a struggle to get everything into that 1 hour. But I enjoyed it. I always enjoy it. I thank you for coming. It's always my pleasure to see you guys, old and new students. Okay, and yeah, what can I say? Thanks for watching. Keep watching. Keep watching Mark's class. Keep watching my class. Keep asking us questions on Facebook. Okay, I don't know. No mistake of the week this time, unfortunately. I'm just getting distracted by the chat. You guys are talking about such interesting things in the chat. I'm jealous. I'm here teaching and not in on the conversation. That's too bad. But how about I'll hang out for about a couple minutes in the chat here, guys. If you guys still have questions about anything that we've talked about today, about punctuation, you can put it in the chat. I'll hang out for a few minutes before I run home. Okay? So again, thanks for watching. Keep practicing your English, guys. We'll see you here next week. And until then, yeah? See you later.